Welcome to Crossing the Vector Line.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Welcome to you. Thanks for being here.
I'm really glad to be here. Where we talk about the rules of filmmaking and how to creatively break them.
Consider the depth of field a laser pointer and your audience a bunch of cats. My little thing is, if it's not on a tripod, put it in a tweet.
So I made a sweet cat video, and false, I've never made a sweet cat video.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Let's talk about YouTube though.
Currently an audience of 1 billion viewers.
B, as in bravo.
As in
YouTube.
bodacious.
That's a lot. I've often related this to making sausage. It's an ugly process, and then I have to tweak it and grind it and pull all these different ingredients, and out pops this delicious looking, tasting video.
So I'm no videologist, but I personally think that Danny Elfman is pretty much a one-trick pony.
Serious. And we'll see you next time on the Vector Line.
Us out! Oh, let's cut it off. It's like the most important piece of information on the...
We'll get that to you. We'll get that to you shortly, but it's okay.
You can say the Mac jokes if you want.
That's fine. That's fine.
Braden
Well, hello everyone. I'm Braden.
I am Craig. Welcome to Crossing the Vector Line.
The show that explores the rules of filmmaking and how to creatively break them. Welcome. Thanks for being here. This is Craig and I's first live show, so bravo to you guys. But then also, typically, I know you can't tell on the show, but Craig and I usually have it edited, and we have all of our bloopers and flubs.
Yeah, I wish we could say we did every episode flawlessly, and there was no problem. If you go on the channel, if you guys haven't already, there is a blooper reel for every episode that we've done.
There's quite a few bloopers that go along with this. So you guys get to put up with the unedited, uncoordinated glory right now, so thanks for bearing with us, but act engaged, because you're also on camera right now too. So quit picking your nose. We'll leave that in the final cut back there.
I'm just curious, how many of you guys know about the show? Have seen it? 1, 2. All right, I'm not going to be offended if you pull your phones out, subscribe to our YouTube channel. This microphone is like crazy.
I think we're too close, which I have never said before, but that's okay. Yeah. Good deal. All right, who here uses video in their marketing strategy at all? Okay, a few people. Okay, who's regularly creating video content, actively doing that? A little bit there, a little bit there. Okay, it's a little bit.
Who should be?
Yes, yes. Who wants to be? Yes,
all of you.
A lot more people. Very good, very good. So this was something. This show started as an idea. Craig and I wanted to start creating our own video content because we were ourselves searching for a lot of how-to videos, a lot of explanation videos in the video industry, and we weren't finding all the answers that we were looking for, or we weren't finding it in a format that we appreciated.
We were finding them from like the 12-year-old guys who were like, "Hey guys, I made this YouTube video to answer." You know, it's like 20 minutes long.
Who's seen that video before? Yes, lots of those.
Who had the patience to sit through that video?
Yes, exactly.
None of us.
Exactly. So the second largest search engine in the world is what? Who knows? Who said Bing? Who said? Get out of here. No, yes. YouTube is correct. Second largest search engine. People are constantly searching, how do I do this? What does this mean? Why did they do this? All the time. So Craig and I kind of wanted to meet that need there and start creating our own videos here. So we decided to start the show. It's been going for about 6 months now. And we thought we'd share with you guys a little bit of what we've learned along the way, where we've succeeded and where we've failed about maintaining your audience's attention in a video. Here's another shot. We've been doing this for about 6 months now. We've done about 18 episodes. A lot of blooper reels in there, as you can see there as well.
Currently it's about 2 hours worth of content total. If you watch all of these episodes, this episode itself will add another 20 minutes, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, exactly.
But we just weren't finding what we wanted, and I wish we could say that we knew exactly what the show was going to be and how to make it the most successful as we possibly could when we first launched it, and that's not anything near the truth. Currently, we've got about 350 subscribers in the world of YouTube. That's not a ton. We've got about 43,000 views total on the 20 or so videos that we've got on there. So we're learning and we're adapting, and there are some things that we've learned in our analytics as we've watched how are people responding to what, changing things, tweaking things, trying to give them content in the way that they want their content.
Very good. All right, quiz time. Who knows what the Wadsworth constant is? Anyone? Rocky? Well done. Bravo.
I think Rocky told us about that.
Very good. What the Wadsworth constant is what it states is the first 30% of almost every video on YouTube is useless. Useless information. It's the 12-year-old droning on and on and on. How many of you have seen those videos where it's like, just get to the point already? Geez. We see that all the time. 30% completely useless. Okay?
There's actually this super cool plugin someone made that you can actually type that into the end of a YouTube link, and it will automatically skip that first 30% and get you into the heart of the content.
Exactly.
How does that make you feel about the content that you create?
How does
knowing
this make
that
you
your viewers
feel?
are not interested in that?
How long do you think people take to decide if they're going to finish watching a YouTube video or not? How many minutes? How many seconds? How many? Any ideas?
10 seconds?
Minutes? 10 seconds?
3 seconds?
3 seconds? 8? It's currently 6 seconds. Okay? People will determine within that first 6 seconds. So if you have a 60-second video, 1 minute, it's pretty condensed, pretty short and sweet, but the Wadsworth constant is in effect. The first how many seconds are useless out of 60? 30%?
I don't know, I went to art school, so I didn't have to do that.
It'd be 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen.
20
seconds. That's all useless information, and of that 20 useless seconds of information, they're deciding that they're skipping away in 6 seconds. Okay?
Fun fact, anyone know the attention span of a goldfish? How do you determine the attention span of a goldfish? Apparently it's 8 seconds. How they determine that, I'm still not sure. But the point is, apparently goldfish have larger attention spans than we as consumers.
So how do we overcome that? That's a little bit of a daunting challenge to overcome, right? Okay, well, people are skipping away in 6 seconds. How do I fix that?
And it's easy to blame the viewers, right? Oh, kids these days, their attention span is just not what it used to be. Or I remember back in the day, and it's not right to blame the consumers, because how many of us have gotten on Netflix, found something we were invested in, and just binged watched it until we got through the whole season?
For like 70 hours.
Right?
Yeah.
We have no problem consuming content in vast quantities, but what's the difference? It's something that we're interested in, and it's presented in a way that we're engaged with. So that's the trick.
This is more than a hook. We all know what the hook is. You started off strong, attention-grabbing technique. Here's who's heard of Jay Today? Jay Bear? Yes. He did a video series for about a year. He produced a 3-minute video called Jay Today. He released it every single day. Here's an example of one of those.
You have to have both sides of the social media software equation. Hey everybody, it's Jay Bear with another Jay Today, where I give you a piece of my mind 3 minutes at a time. I'm in Washington, D.C. today at the Woodley Park Guest House in town for the National Speakers Association Conference, one of my favorite events of the year. Always learn a lot and got to see a lot of good friends. Also really excited this week about an announcement that just came out that the folks at Sysomos are acquiring the good folks at Expion.
He does a little bit of a tease, okay? It's like 6 seconds. He's like, this merger is going to change everything about social media ever. And then it goes to the intro. And what do? You stick around to find out, okay, what's the merger about, okay? Every single time he does that. Rocky talked earlier about, this is Ripley's Believe It or Not. We did a web series for them, the first season here. Let's see if this one's gonna play or not. Maybe.
Having trouble in bed? Well, your goats are not. That and so much more in medical quackeries in this episode of Ripley's Believe It or Not. So, radiation therapy can be done at home, right? Feeling a little sleepy, maybe a little tired? What if you were nuclear powered?
Every time Otello, this is the host of the show, we start out with that same tease, okay? That attention-getting technique. He hooks you, gives you a little bit of a question. He goes, why are goats getting more lucky in bed than you are? Things like that. That's the actual episode that he's talking about here. And you're sticking around and you're like, what is going on right now? We do a little tiny intro, and then as soon as he comes back from the intro, we get right down to it, okay? We don't beat around the bush.
Clip of the screaming goat, because that obviously belongs right there.
Exactly, yeah, screaming goats. And then in each episode that you see of Ripley's Believe It or Not, he has a different segment, and he starts each one out with another hook. So the moral is, don't stop hooking. That came out wrong. That sounds weird.
Awkward. So the people who,
yes.
mind.
Okay.
Just stop.
Don't stop using teases. Let's do
tease.
A little
right?
bit on the same.
People who
provocativeness.
tease. I can do that.
Don't stop teasing your audience. Okay. Don't stop asking them questions. So every time you have a segment within your video, tease it a little bit at the beginning, and then they'll stick around to figure out that question.
And be fair with them, right? Don't continually tease and then never actually give them anything, because they're gonna, figure out what's going on and get tired of that very early on. But you're giving them enough to keep them invested and keep them interested, to create a little bit of suspense.
Something that we analyzed during our show was each of our episodes is about 5 minutes long. At about 3:30, that mark right there, people were watching throughout the whole time, but then they were stopped watching right then. And we're like, oh man, we have a segment towards the end of the show called I'm No Videologist, and that's like our favorite segment. We get in a little bit of a
That's a technical term.
debate, videologist, very technical. But they weren't even getting to that point, and so you can see that on the YouTube analytics, and I strongly recommend using those. It's free tools, it's right there, they track all that for you. We're trying to figure out, okay, well, what's getting them to turn off? Well, each episode that we have has a sponsor. We have a little 15-second, 30-second, the most little plug for one of our sponsors each week that we need to put in. And they were seeing that, and they're going, oh, well, this isn't relevant to me. I don't care about another commercial. So they were clicking away. And so Craig and I took a look at that, and we said, okay, well, our audience is doing this, so how do we address that?
We weren't giving them enough of a reason to hang around for 15 seconds. It wasn't enough. And so right before we cut away to that sponsor clip, and really it was more like 12 seconds,
right,
we would tell them why it's in their best interest to hang on. You know, after this, we'll come back and tell you the #1 thing you should never do in video. I would say that's hold the phone vertically, but we can talk about that later.
Exactly. But let them know what you're going to tell them. Say, this is what we're going to talk about today, and then get to it, okay? And especially if there's a little break, if you have to put a plug in for something else. A lot of YouTube channels have to do that. They have sponsors that they are obligated to give them some screen time. That's very important. That's very helpful to growing your audience, is collaborating with other people relevant to the topic at hand, but also people in that industry, getting that word out. That is really advantageous, Craig and I have found, as we've developed this show here. Another thing is content, okay? Doug Carr was talking about this, Chad was talking about this. There's tons of content out there, okay?
Yeah, the problem isn't that there's no content. You know, the problem isn't that there isn't enough of it.
Yes, your audience gets into the habit of they want to get their content that they're looking for in a very specific way. Okay, so when I go and check my news on a daily basis, I go to this YouTube channel, I go to this Twitter handle, and I go to this website. There are dozens and dozens of other websites out there that have that exact same content, but I go to them because they present it to me in the format that I want.
And it's amazing, these 3 things, and that's why we put them all in one slide, are all interconnected. About a year ago, Rocky and I went to a middle school in Noblesville for a career day. And I got to tell them about my awesome job at 12 Stars. And I asked the kids, you know, 8th, 9th graders, is that middle school? I was homeschooled, you guys will have to forgive me here. And I said, how many of you guys are watching television? Guess how many hands were raised? Television. Guess, how many of these kids were watching TV?
50%? 12%?
No one raised their hands. These kids aren't watching TV. And I said, well, where are you getting your content? And they said YouTube, Netflix. These are middle schoolers. So Braden and I feel like we've got some really good content. We've got something that we feel people would be interested in and invested in. Does it make any sense for us to go and make a television show about it? Well, of course not, because we've considered our audience and we know that they're not going to consume it that way. So then we give them the content in the method that they're looking for, in the way that we know that hopefully they will receive.
Some key takeaways is to respect your audience's time, okay? How many people have heard that every single video that you put out needs to be 3 minutes, 2 minutes or less? Everyone's kind of heard that's like the gun of the golden rule, okay? That's not true.
3 minutes is too long.
Okay? It does not have to be 2 minutes, because as Craig said, you know, we binge watch Netflix all the time. Every week we go and see a 2.5-hour blockbuster in the theaters. We will stick around for that. So know your audience, know what they're looking for, present it to them in a condensed amount of time, get straight to the point. Don't beat around the bush, don't have huge, long introductions. This is not the Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and you have like this 2-minute intro sequence titles every single episode. That's not what this is, so keep it short and sweet and get straight to the point.
You guys notice the intro on our show? That little animation, that is like 5 seconds. It's not even a Vine video. Vine video is still a thing, right?
Maybe out there, I don't know.
We kept it short. We wanted to communicate. This is what the show is. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who have seen this, we're not going to lose you in the intro. We're not going to waste your time. If you can communicate something to your audience in 30 seconds, it is disrespectful to take 60 seconds to do it. Even if you think, I'm a super engaging speaker and they'll listen to me as long as I can talk. If you can do it in 30 seconds, do it in 30 seconds. They're not going to stick with you just because you're an engaging person.
Exactly.
And half of them are asleep.
Right. Stay on topic. It's a great idea to have one idea per video, okay? Don't overdo it. Don't try and cram a whole bunch of information. If you say, this is relevant, we try and have, sometimes our episodes will have multiple points, but they're all very relevant to each other. But if you guys are looking to get more content, just have one idea per video, keep it short and sweet, have a qualified person talk about it, get straight to the point, answer the question. People are searching, how do I manipulate the depth of field on my Canon DSLR? They're searching for that in YouTube. So we title each of our episodes, how do I blah, 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 each time. Start using that in your titles. And respect their time. This is what we're going to be talking about. Here's the information that you need that's relevant to this topic at hand.
And this took a little while for us to learn. I mean, the first few episodes we started about, shooting video on your smartphone was an episode. Trying to cram that topic into 6 minutes was very difficult. Really, you need to narrow it down. And if you find yourself going off on a tangent, that's fine. Save that for another video.
Yes.
Right? Because they're not going to be searching for your video to answer every question they've ever had about shooting video on their smartphone. They're going to be asking a very specific question. And you're going to lose them if you don't answer just that question right away.
Rocky was talking about this a little bit earlier, training your audience.
They can be trained.
Yes, and that's what you want. You want to start forming habits, okay? You want people to start coming back and revisiting. Oh, it's Tuesday, the newest episode of Vectorline is out, okay? And they want to go and look that out, and they're expecting to get that directly from you. Train your audience, okay? What's kind of your favorite sitcom ever? Shout out your favorite sitcom TV show.
That is.
What was it? Friends. Great example. What was that? How I Met Your Mother. How many seasons do each of those have? Like 10 seasons of Friends, 8 seasons of How I Met Your Mother. Those are so insanely popular because each episode pretty much has the exact same structure to it, right? People know what to expect every single time. It's not like, oh, like what is going to happen on Friends this week? Something will happen, okay? It's something new, but the format's the exact same way. Each show starts out kind of the same way. They present an issue or something. They do the intro sequence, credits, titles, and they get back to the show, and it's them working through that.
And you can throw a curveball in there from time to time. Obviously, you don't want to make totally predictable content because then they're not going to be inclined to want to come back. But you knew that there was going to be this kind of formula, and you were trained to expect that, and that's what you wanted. That's why you kept coming back.
That's going back to respecting their time, okay?
Yeah.
You develop that habit. They know, okay, I'm going to get this. They're going to talk about this, and then they're going to wrap it up, and they might have this little segment here, and then it's done. That's exactly what I want.
Yep.
That's how I need to receive that information.
And they'll look forward to it. They'll anticipate. If you're a company that's only putting out a video a year, they don't really know, well now what are they saying? What is this going to be? Is this an animation? Is this a interview? But if you're putting out regular content, it doesn't have to be every day or every week necessarily, but regular programming so that they know, wow, okay, I know these guys are going to give me really quality information. They did it last time, and I'm expecting it again this time.
That's probably our biggest takeaway that we've gotten from this show is maintaining it consistently, telling them exactly what we're going to be talking about on the show, talking about it, and then wrapping it up and sending them off, not taking any more time than they need because there are plenty of 42-minute unboxing videos of the latest camera out there.
Yep.
That can be helpful, but people want that content in the 42 minutes. That's possible. If it's possible to do it in 5, do it in 5. People will keep coming back for that. This is the part of the show, we're still on the show here, called I'm No Videologist. This is the section where Craig and I throw out a topic in the video industry, and then we take opposing sides. So Craig, what's the topic for today?
Topic of today, and we'll start it out, I try to make it as confrontational as they possibly can. I'm no videologist, but I personally believe that those clickbait thumbnails on YouTube with that image of the thing that has nothing to do with the video itself are just gimmicky. It actually frustrates me, it offends me.
Gotcha.
And I get done, and not only do I jump out of that video or get frustrated at the end, but I'll give you a dislike for sure.
So you're talking about like someone will do like a makeup tutorial video, but it's inspired by Taylor Swift's most recent music video.
Right, so they'll put a picture of Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift isn't anywhere in that video, and I know you just put it there because you're trying to get me to click.
Inspired by Taylor Swift.
It doesn't matter.
So it's kind of the same thing, right?
It's not at all the same.
So you don't think that's okay?
No, I think it's totally worthless. I think it's offensive to me. You're insulting my intelligence, which is easy to do, but I don't like it when it's done.
But yet me as a lowly, I'm just producing my own YouTube show, I can't afford the promotion team that Taylor Swift has, T-Swizzle.
But you're lying. You're lying to me.
But it has...
You're telling me you're going to give me something and then there's no...
But why not use it? It's out there. People are looking for it. So if I can take advantage and it's still timely and relevant to the time, I can kind of use that and be like, hey, This has something to do with that, so I can use that. Use that to
Timely,
your
relevant,
advantage.
sure, but is it honest? You get to the end and you've communicated to your audience, I'm not actually going to deliver to you what I said I was
So
going
I
to.
think what we're finding in the middle of us here is that you can use it as long as it's relevant to the topic of your
Great
video.
power
You can use
comes
it.
great
Yes,
responsibility.
yes.
Right.
So if I show a thumbnail from Mad Max Fury Road, who saw that?
We
George
did.
Miller's
We
Mad
did
Max.
that.
Fantastic movie. I can use that thumbnail in the show if I'm actually talking about that and bringing it up.
Well, that's a great example. We've got an episode where you watched the film and you were so inspired about specifically the editing
Yes.
that was done and how they chose to edit that movie. And so we spent an episode talking about it. It made total sense for us to create a thumbnail with a picture of Mad Max right on the front and to use the title, editing tips from Mad Max Fury Road.
Right.
Because that's what we talked about. That's what was in the content and it wasn't lying.
That's a good point, but I'm no video.
I'm no
artist.
video
I'm no
artist.
video artist. That could be anything. Good deal. Good deal. Well, that concludes our show for today, everyone. Thank you very much for participating and being our live audience. I'm
This
Braden,
worked well, we should do this again.
Craig, and we'll see you next time on Crossing the Vector Line. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.